everyone, welcome back to Spiritual Lessons, and in today's video I would like to talk about enchanted objects and powerful objects of legend. Do I think they exist? And how would one be made? So, there have been tons of legends over the years of enchanted and powerful objects that have extraordinary powers that very few, if any, mortals can handle or touch. A few examples. The Holy Grail. The Holy Grail was a chalice that was used by Jesus at the Last Supper. And when he was crucified, drops of his blood were held in the cup. And given Jesus's history of being a powerful Son of God and having these extraordinary powers, especially healing powers, it was blessed with the power of healing. Another one is Excalibur, the legendary sword held by King Arthur that could best any foe and shoot flames at its foes. The Cauldron of Ceridwen, used by the powerful enchantress Ceridwen, though it's often referred to as the Cauldron of Awen because she used Awen's power to work with it to make a potion for her son who was not endowed with good looks, so she wanted him to make up for it another way by giving him extraordinary powers and poetic inspiration to be the best bard ever. These items, like some items, like the Holy Grail, if it exists, is said to be able to be used by anyone. Anyone who drinks from it will be healed of their illness. Meanwhile, Excalibur can only be used by King Arthur. The Cauldron of Awen can only be used by Ceridwen. Now, why is that? Okay, so, according to legend, the Holy Grail was just a mere grail before Jesus got a hold of it, right? He drank from it, so his spit got on the cup. And, of course, spit has energy, just like any other bodily fluid. And then his blood got in there. And he had this powerful healing magic. And, you know, a lot of Christians would be like, oh, no, don't call it magic because magic is evil. Okay, he had a healing energy, if that makes you feel better. And the blood is especially a powerful generator of energy. It's all throughout our body, and it picks up energy whenever we think, feel, or use magic. It gets energized. So it became powerful because it was introduced to this these energized fluids from the body. So therefore, they can be used by anyone. Meanwhile, it seems like the Cauldron of Awen and Excalibur were specifically made for a specific person. Now, Ceridwen, according to legend, from what I was able to look up, she was considered an Awenid, which was a follower of Awen. And she was praised by bards for poetic inspiration. She was called the Spark of Life. And I've talked about her in my investigation about the One. So if you haven't seen that video, please look it up. So Ceridwen, it's not really known how she got a hold of the cauldron, but she imbued it with a certain energy to where it would not work if anyone else used it. They wouldn't be able to make as powerful concoctions in it as she would. And if anyone else held Excalibur, it would just be a normal sword. It would not have any magical powers if anyone else got a hold of it. It was only meant for the true king. So certain energies, certain focused energies are in play here. So the Holy Grail was not given any specific kind of energy. It wasn't meant for one person. It was just energy in general. Meanwhile, the Excalibur and the Cauldron of Alwyn were made for a specific purpose by a specific person and will now only respond. Without Caridwen, the Cauldron of Alwyn is just a cauldron. Without King Arthur, Excalibur is just a sword. Because it was made for a specific person with specific concentrated energies. Now, if we make an enchanted object for, healing, let's say, and we don't have any specific people in mind who can use it, then everyone's going to be able to use it. If we really concentrate and be like, may this object only work for so-and-so and so-and-so and so-and-so, whoever, and may it not work for anyone else, you are programming that energy to be specific and be exclusive. It's like a fingerprint scanner that only has one person's fingerprint in it, right? Or a certain select number of fingerprints. If anyone else that is not in that system tries to use that fingerprint scanner, they're not going to get in, right? That is because they are made for specific people, exclusive to those people. So how would one be made? That's a bit difficult. So charging energy is merely just praying over that energy. Praying over that object. 1 minute. Kitty, get down. Get down. Hey. Never listens. But anyway, so when you charge an object, you are praying over it, you are giving it energy. Now, however long that you give it that energy, the more powerful it becomes. So the longer you pray over it, the longer you charge it, the more energy that's going to be in it, and the more it's going to have more of a practical use. I do intend on trying to make an enchanted, quote, relic in the future, and I will actually be using my actual camera and not my phone camera because it's going to be a bit of a longer video and it's going to be a more hands-on video. So stay tuned for that. But a lot of energy is going to have to be imbued in this for a specific purpose, and you can't have it, you don't want to risk it being tainted with any other emotions or energy. So you keep it away for only that specific purpose when you're charging it. You only charge it with that energy. So if I set aside a makeshift Holy Grail for healing, I'm going to charge it with healing energies and then I'm going to put it away until I'm ready to fill it with more healing energies. I'm not going to touch it when I'm angry or sad or, any of those negative emotions because I don't want to risk tainting the energy that I've already put into it. Now, according to legend, a lot of these objects have only been touched like once. And that's it. So they've had a long time for that energy to sit in there and stew. It has been untainted by other energies. So it hasn't gained any more energy, but it hasn't lost or had any energy corrupted. Now, do I think that these objects exist? They could possibly. Some of them, I do think so. Like, I do think that the Excalibur, I do think that exists. I do think the Cauldron of Alwyn exists. The Holy Grail, there was an Unsolved Mysteries episode where a family had a history of monks who hid an olive wood grail because it wouldn't have been metal and jewel encrusted in gold because that was too high class for a simple carpenter. And the cup itself has long since disintegrated, but they have a piece of the olive wood left, and they have water in it, and they send this water to certain people for healing purposes, and people have claimed to be healed. So it's quite possible that the Holy Grail no longer exists anymore, but I believe it may have once did. And it wasn't metal or gold or jewel encrusted like you see in the movies. No, it's a simple olive wood cup. Now, some objects I do think are fabrications, part of legend or hoaxes. Others, I think, maybe the real deal, but if we were to grab a hold of them, they're not going to have any use. Excalibur, I think it would be rusted by now. I think only the energies that it was made for, like a descendant of King Arthur, if he had any. If they got a hold of that sword today, it's possible the powers might be reawakened. But I can't be certain. That is just a fun little belief I have. It's possible. But, you know, anything is possible in this world. But specifically, no matter which ones I believe in or not, they're just objects. They're objects that were man-made. They were, or at least made on this earth, because the Excalibur was said to be made by the fairy, the Lady of the Lake, for Arthur. So they are all items from this earth that have been given specific energies by specific beings or people for a specific purpose, whether intentionally or unintentionally. Like the Holy Grail was unintentionally. Jesus was not holding the cup at the time when his blood was put into it. No, one of his disciples was holding it, and she cupped his blood in there. Now, how can they be that powerful if they do exist with such mere energy whenever we pray on something and it's not as powerful? Concentration. Passion. You have to really feel that energy and really just go into it. Give it as much energy as you can. It may take you a lifetime to get it nearly as powerful as these legendary items. But I think it's better to try and fail, to not try at all and never find out. So, like I said, I do plan on making a makeshift grail in time. I already have the cup set aside in my my armoire. And when I find the time, maybe this weekend, I don't know, I'm going to try and start filming that video and show you my process. So if you have any questions regarding like how an enchanted object might be made, or if certain ones exist, or which ones do you think are real? And which ones do you think are false? Do you think there are any out there that are actually truly enchanted or powerful? Let me know down in the comments. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please subscribe. Don't forget to hit the bell button so you don't miss any of my future uploads. And have a good day.